with BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with head women's softball coach Dana Goss. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
10-10 on the year. Just got done with the spring break trip. We went 4-1. Talk about a couple of those games, starting with the 2-1 loss to Hastings in extra innings.
Well, when you come off of a road trip going 4-1, you obviously know that it was considered a successful trip. But I do feel like we should have been 5-0. Not to take anything away from Hastings. With it being the first game and us losing the way we did, having several opportunities to win, and then bouncing back and winning the next 4, that's definitely a sign of going in the right direction. But I certainly wasn't satisfied with just going 4-1. I think all of the players and us as coaches, we think we should have definitely won those games, and we had opportunities to do so. But again, to bounce back and win the next 4 was definitely a step in the right direction.
Now, in those next 4, your offense stepped up 16-1 against McPherson, 13-2 against York, and then you played in a couple of one-run ball games. What did you see from the offense?
Well, Friday night after dropping the Hastings game, they were on a mission. Right from the first pitch, we had our table setters getting on, which is something that we've really been struggling with, this year. And again, just knowing that they left some runs and some opportunities out there in the first game, we challenged them pretty hard after that, and they stepped up and did it. The next morning we started a little bit slow in the 2-1 game, and they did help us out huge there. Certainly, it was actually a really pretty good and clean ball game, but we took advantage of their mistakes and ended up winning that. But our bats definitely came alive. We're starting to get kids healthy again, which is, really huge for us. And just getting that consistency of game speed, seeing the ball and getting those game reps, consecutively like that is big for us for sure.
Of course, starting 10-10, not quite the start that you were looking forward to. Would you accredit the injuries at the beginning of the year for that?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm not an excuse person. I don't like giving them. I don't like hearing them. But there's no question. We have a very talented group of girls, but we had a lot of girls playing, different positions. And, in a lineup of 9 players, when you essentially have 4, either gone or out of position, it makes for a huge difference. And then again, like where, we really felt like we would be, that fine-oiled machine right now, we're probably, just a little bit behind that mark, but we're getting there. 2
of those injuries, your middle, Sierra, Esau, Brooke Lee, starting to work their way back. What have you seen for them the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, Brooke, literally the first game that she stepped in, it was like, okay, yes, this is our shortstop, and it solidified that. And, it's like everybody realized how great she is and how much we were missing her. Libby Schrick stepped up for Sierra, and defensively, I couldn't be more proud of that kid for stepping in. That's big shoes to fill, and she really did do a great job. But Sierra is she's our table setter. She is great on the bases, and communication wise, she definitely settles down our infield. So of course it's a breath of fresh air to have her back, and been very proud of her and how hard she's worked to, make herself into one of the better players in our conference, I think, for sure.
And you have a couple of everyday returners, Alexis Richardson, Courtney Parker, been hitting the cover off the ball pretty well. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, Courtney, honestly, this whole season, she didn't have as good of a weekend as she had been having. Still had a lot of hard hits, sometimes just right at them. But Courtney has just kind of been on a different level this entire spring season. She has really shown the growth as a player that we knew that she would, just by going through and learning and maturing. But her and Alexis are both players that we know if they come up to bat for us and the game's on the line, we feel really good about that we're going to be able to pull it out.
You guys are playing a lot of tight one-run ball games. Credit to that, Katie Rickliff's in the circle. She's 5-6 on the year, but her ERA is a .87. What have you seen from her?
Yeah, and actually that .87 really isn't even accurate, because there are a couple things that had gone wrong there. I understand how ERAs work, but there's a couple times we should have turned a double play here or there. So she's wearing about 3 or 4 runs that really shouldn't even be there on top of that. So I just see, Katie, again, another player who really has progressed over this time and doing a great job. And anytime she's on the mound, I mean, we know we have a great shot to win. We haven't seen anybody better than Katie so far, and that's fun for us to see as a coach, that growth that she's had. So
now you get to move into conference play with Avila coming up, a very good Avila team. What are your expectations?
I expect it to be a dogfight. I expect it to be a great game. Avila is a good team, and they're very similar to us. We have a lot of similarities. We have similar coaching styles and philosophies. We both are very aggressive on the bases. They have good pitching. I think we probably have a little bit of an advantage there, and they are, as a team, hitting it a little bit better than we are. And honestly, if our girls come out and play the way that we're capable of, then I think we're on the winning side. But regardless, I expect them to be very good games, and they've certainly been rolling.
Do you see the non-conference season and do you see them in two different seasons, non-conference and conference?
I do. I see the leading up to conference as preseason. I mean, essentially, we're still working out a lot of kinks and quirks. Some of that's because of our youth, some of that's because of injuries. But the conference season is the one that is going to get us to where we want to go. So
with the non-conference, we'll say non-conference season, with the 20 games, are you looking for a completely different team, or are you just looking to build off of what you guys did?
No, I'm looking for us to build off of what we did, but build a lot off of what we did. We had a great fall and really laid the groundwork there. But again, when you have as many injuries as we've had, we're not where we want to be yet for sure. We know we will get there. It's just a matter of, are we there right now, or are we continuing? Do we still have a ways to go? Because we're a little bit behind the 8 ball with those injuries. But we're definitely looking forward to just getting better every game.
Awesome. Coach, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so
for
much.
joining us.
Yeah.
Head coach of the women's softball team, Dana Goss, on the BRSN Insider. Welcome back on the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with head women's lacrosse coach Amanda Magee. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
3-2 on the year. It's the first year in program history. What have you thought so far of this year?
I am very proud and very impressed with the girls so far this year. We started off really well and just hoping to build upon that.
You guys opened up the season with first program win over St. Mary's. That was an 8-7 win. What were your feelings in that game?
It was a very tight game, and the girls were coming out for blood. Last year we played them when it was still a club program, and we lost, same score. They won 7-8. So the girls were super hyped, and they were ready to get the first win in school history on our home field. So it was very exciting.
Of course, first year officially for the program, your first year here. What was the fall like leading up to the spring, recruiting-wise, practice-wise? You had a combination of club girls coming back to play and then some freshmen.
The fall was a good season for me to kind of feel them out and see where they were lax IQ-wise. And we've been using that term a lot this first season, just their initial reactions when they step on the field, how much they understand the game. So it was a good opportunity for me to see where we were and where we wanted to be for the springtime. So fall ball is short, it's only 6.5, 7 weeks. So it was nice for me to see them at the end of October and then start back up again end of January. And just from and to fall ball to now we have improved so much. So that's wonderful to see as a coach.
Now, you had some returners. You had Caitlin Chickey, Mariana Brown, Shannon Groh. Did you kind of lean on them a little bit to help you when you first got here?
Absolutely. The three of them are serious workhorses, and they come to practice every day and give 100%. And they have really been an asset for myself and the girls on the team. They know they can go to them if they have questions or if they don't understand something in practice. And they're always there to help them in extra work after practice, wall ball, partner passing, things like that.
Of course, a couple of freshmen, Mackenzie Roach and Susie Dillingham. What have you seen from them?
They are wonderful athletes. I was very lucky to get them when I first took the job this time last year. Susie, she's from Florida. She is a great goalie, and Mackenzie, a local girl from Kansas City, has been wonderful for us on attack this year. So I'm excited to see what they'll do the rest of the season and the rest of their career here.
And you were able to land a transfer in Elizabeth Darrow, KCAC Player of the Week last week. What have you seen from her?
She is a dynamite player and a fantastic athlete. Another workhorse for us, super positive. She is the type of player that leads by example. I got lucky when I got her, for sure.
Now, you guys opened up your spring break trip at Clark University with a 17-7 win. What did you see out of that game?
Clark, it was a great way for us to start our spring break trip. The girls were really excited. It was a long bus ride to Iowa. So my biggest fear was that we were going to start the game out flat, and they kind of came out and were on fire. Clark is similar to us. It's their first varsity season, and they're in the KCAC as well, of course. So it was nice to see the girls come out on fire. They really, really wanted to win. We had just lost to Missouri Valley by 1, so they were hungry for another conference win.
And then you guys rounded out the spring break trip. You went to Dallas for a couple of games. You lost to Illinois Institute of Technology 15-11, then you beat University of Dallas 18-11. What were your thoughts on that trip?
The trip, I would absolutely say it was a success. It was great for us to go down there, the team bonding, just being on the bus for 8 hours. Same thing with Clark that day. It was a lot of hours on the bus, but I think it was great for them to just be able to focus on each other and lacrosse and building those relationships. Friday, like you said, we lost to Illinois Institute of Tech, and Saturday they came out and knew that they could win this game, and that was it. There was no other possibility we were not going to lose. It was going down as a W.
Well, now you guys get to move ahead to Johnson & Wales upcoming on Friday. What are your expectations?
I am excited for the girls to have another home game. It feels like we haven't been home in forever, so I know they're really excited for a home night game under the lights. Johnson & Wales, they are 0-5 right now, but their strength of schedule is pretty tough. They play a lot of teams in the Denver, Colorado area, where the lacrosse out there is pretty legit. So I'm excited to see how the girls come out again on fire and ready for another KCACW.
What's a week of preparation look like for you guys? Because lacrosse is a sport we're all still getting used to here. What's a week of preparation for you guys look like leading up to a game?
So a week leading up to a game, Monday, obviously, if we have a Friday game, we go a little bit tougher on them on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we kind of start to relax a little bit more. The day before a game, we go for about an hour and 15 and just do, the basics, passing, catching, shooting. A lot of shuttles is what we call them, our shuttle lines, working on dominant and non-dominant passing and catching. And then we'll go into our 7v7, work on our plays, our motion options, things like that. So the day before is really, it's a practice run through for them. You don't want to get their legs tired. They're going to be running a lot in the game the next day. So definitely start to lean, similar to football where I say you start to lean off on them when you get closer to game time.
What were your expectations coming into the year? Of course, you guys were picked second to finish in the KCAC. What were your expectations?
It was wonderful to get picked second in the coaches poll, but I can't put a ton into that because we had not seen a lot of the teams play. So my expectations are for the team and the girls to get better every time we step out on that field, whether it be a practice, whether it be a game. And I think so far we have absolutely done that. Saturday, our win against University of Dallas, that's the best I have seen the girls play this season. So I am hoping we just build on that momentum and we keep getting better. I am constantly impressed with their work ethic and just their ability to try new things. I think when you don't have a lot of experience, being open-minded and coachable is huge.
Now, when you haven't seen a team before, do you lean more as a coach on film or statistics when you're looking at another team?
I'd say I do a 50-50. I like to do both. And I think what has been great about this first year in the KCAC and in the lacrosse world, the coaches are very able to help you. And, you know, I have a lot of friends who are coaches, so ask for a scout on this person or that team. So I say it's 50-50 along with scouts from other coaches.
Awesome. Coach, thank you very much
Thanks so
for sitting
much.
down with us.
Thank
Coach
you.
Amanda Magee of the Benedictine College Women's Lacrosse Team on the BRSN Insider. Welcome back on the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with Sports Information GA, Dakota Smith. Dakota, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Casey. Nice to be here.
We're going to round out the rest of the events on campus, starting with men's lacrosse. They got done with their spring break road trip as well. They dropped a 10-6 loss to the University of Cumberland's and a 9-5 loss to Ashbury University. But on the bright side, Zach McGuff.
26 saves in one game, got the KCAC Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, not a whole lot more you can ask for from your goalie with 26 saves, but from what I've heard, they've been struggling with some injuries, trying to stay healthy. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do when they finally get completely healthy, because in that first game, they looked really good. Ryan Heinzer looked amazing, starting, I think it was 5 or 6 goals in the first game. But they've struggled since then. I think that might have to do something with competition, but we're starting to see improvement, and I'd like to see what they do when they're completely healthy.
And now they got a little bit of a layoff. They don't play again until the 24th. They got Tennessee Wesleyan. That game is in St. Louis, so they're going to meet them halfway and play them, thankfully. But I think that if they get a chance to, they get healthy, they get recovered, they get 2 weeks of practice, no games, they just get to work with themselves. I think they're going to come out and be a lot better.
I completely agree with you there. I think there's a lot of potential there. They're a very young team. I mean, a lot of freshmen, a lot of underclassmen guys. Their contributions are there, but I don't think they're to the point where Coach Coughlin wants them to be yet. But I think they're on their way there.
Been up there. Now, really moving on, what we've been waiting to talk about, the women's basketball team. 55-53 win in the opening round of the NAIA National Championship.
What a game. It was the defense. I mean, that's what it's been all year for those ladies. It's been their defense. That was the number 4 and number 6 ranked scoring defenses in the country going up against each other. The Ravens gave up 19 points in the first quarter and then gave up 34 points over the next 35 minutes. You can't get any better. You just cannot play any better defense than that. And they got just enough offense they needed. Shayla Relich had 22. I mean, what more can you ask for? Good defense, but now you draw the number 1 team in the country. Talk about the luck of the draw there when in your bracket is the team that's won 30 games in a row.
And the team that Dakota's talking about, Our Lady of the Lakes out of Texas, that's the team that the Lady Ravens will face off of on Friday morning. It's a 10:45 a.m. tip-off. That's going to be a tough game.
Oh, absolutely. Our Lady, number 1 scoring offense in the country against one of the top 5 defensive teams in the country. Well, something's got to give, obviously. I think that's a game, if the Ravens slow it down, they'll have a good chance to win that game, but they have to slow the tempo down. You have to grind it out. You cannot give teams like that extra possessions. You got to limit turnovers, things like that. Take good shots. I think you got to lean on Shayla Relich again, like you did in game 1. Lean on her. That's why she's there. She's your senior leader. You got to lean on her.
I think you're absolutely right. Working the ball inside, which I really think though that if they can heat it up from outside, I really think they can outshoot anybody in the tournament from outside.
It's just a matter of them getting hot and staying hot. We've seen them go off for 15, 16 threes in a game, but then there's the opposite side where they make 1 or 2, but that defense saves you again. And we've seen it multiple times this year in this gym against Baker. That defense held strong in the last 3 or 4 minutes and was just enough. But there comes a point in time where your offense has to be there, and I think one of those days is going to be tomorrow when they play Our Lady of the Lake. I think your offense has to be there. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a combination of great offense and even better defense to beat a team like that that's won 30 games in a row.
I think the biggest key for me is you said slowing it down. I think they do need to slow it down. I think you're right with Shayla, but I really think that if Allie Taff, Lorena Thomas, Jordan Kramer play well and that backcourt plays well, I think that's going to be the key for them.
I agree that that's something that hasn't been. The scoring may not be there, but what Allie Taff does is so great. Mm-hmm. I mean, she runs that offense the way she's supposed to. She gets people looks, and then you get her polar opposite in Lorena Thomas, who comes in and is more of the scoring type point guard and puts points on the board, but also does that. You saw he played Allie and Lorena both in big minutes yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think the faith he has in Lorena Thomas is great, for especially her being a freshman. Absolutely. But I think you lean on Allie Taff a lot to get you in your sets, make things work, and then lean on your seniors. I mean, Jordan Kramer and Shayla Rutledge, this could be their last game. You never know. Mm-hmm. You got to play it like it's your last game. And I think that may be some motivation they have is play for your seniors, go out and try to get this W and keep moving on.
They did a great job yesterday beating Montana State. They got a real tough game coming up, Our Lady of the Lakes. Friday, Independence, Missouri at the Silverstone Ice Center Arena, 10:45 a.m. tip-off. Got the NAI National Championships. Also got the NCAA National Champions going on, March Madness. You got a Final Four?
All right, so I'm not a KU fan, but I'll take KU. I got KU coming out of that bracket. I got Oklahoma. My surprise is Indiana. I love Yogi Ferrell. Mm-hmm. Love the name. And then I'm going with Michigan State because you can't pick against Denzel Valentine. He's just that good.
And your national champion?
Boomer Sooner. Buddy Hield.
You
can't pick against Buddy Hield right now. When you give him the ball, it's over. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has the ball late in the game. You don't expect to lose.
Dakota, thank you very much for sitting down. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Casey.
Dakota Smith, Sports Information Director, GA on the BRSN Insider.